Deep in the Kuiper Belt, research station Helios drifted silently among the icy bodies of the solar system's outer reaches. Its silver-white surfaces gleamed under the distant sunlight, adorned with an array of delicate sensors and research equipment that marked it as one of humanity's countless scientific outposts. At least, that's what everyone was meant to think. Director Sarah Chen stood at the station's observation deck, her dark eyes fixed on the vast emptiness beyond. 20 years of maintaining humanity's greatest deception had left subtle marks on her face, but her posture remained unwavering. The latest transmission from the Karathi Empire's diplomatic envoy played in her neural feed, their dismissive tone bringing a slight smile to her lips. The humans continue their primitive obsession with scientific pursuit, the Karathi ambassador had reported to his superiors. Their orbital installations show no signs of military capability. Their research vessels lack even basic defensive systems. They remain, as ever, beneath our concern. Sarah's smile widened as she watched a seemingly innocuous maintenance drone pass by the window. Its outer shell concealed enough firepower to vaporize a small warship. Transmission from Luna Command, her AI assistant announced quietly. Priority 1. The holographic display materialized before her, showing the stern face of Admiral James Rodriguez. Director Chen, the Karathi are getting bolder. Their scout ships have been probing deeper into the Oort cloud. Our passive sensors detected 3 of them yesterday. Let them look, Sarah replied, her voice carrying years of careful preparation. Every scan they run confirms exactly what we want them to see. The quantum masking systems are performing perfectly. The Admiral's expression remained grave. The Council is concerned. The Karathi have subjugated 3 peaceful civilizations in the past solar year alone. Some believe it's only a matter of time before they turn their attention to Earth. Sarah turned from the window, walking to the station's central command console. With a thought, she brought up the station's true status display. Beneath its scientific facade, Helios was the linchpin of humanity's outer defense grid. What appeared to be atmospheric monitoring arrays were actually advanced weapon platforms. Environmental sensors doubled as targeting systems. Even the station's power core was far more than it seemed. "Let me show you something, Admiral," she said, initiating the secure quantum link. The display shifted, showing a vast network of hidden installations throughout the solar system. The Karathi see what everyone sees, a peaceful species obsessed with scientific advancement. They don't see the quantum weapons nested inside our research platforms. They don't notice that every civilian ship we've launched in the past 50 years can transform into a combat vessel within minutes. And if they decide to test their assumptions, Rodriguez asked. Sarah's fingers danced across the console, bringing up the latest defense simulations. Then they'll learn why humanity chose peace rather than being forced into it. Our latest wargames show we can have the entire defense grid combat ready in under 3 minutes. Every research station, every orbital platform, every deep space probe, all of them hiding capabilities that would make the Karathi military doctrine look primitive. A new alert flashed across her display. One of the Karathi scouts had moved closer than ever before, its sensors probing the station with increasing intensity. Sarah watched the data stream, noting how perfectly their countermeasures were performing. The scout would detect exactly what they wanted it to detect. Another boring human scientific installation studying ice compositions in the Kuiper Belt. We've maintained this facade for over 50 years, Admiral. Sarah continued. We've let the galaxy think we're harmless academics more interested in studying stellar phenomena than developing weapons. The Karathi see our environmental restoration projects and assume we're naive idealists. They don't realize those same technologies can be turned against them with devastating effect. Rodriguez nodded slowly. The Council has authorized moving to Defense Level 2. Quietly, of course. No obvious changes to our visible profile. Understood, Sarah replied, already implementing the new protocols. Throughout the station, hidden systems hummed to life while maintaining their peaceful disguise. I almost hope they try something, Admiral. After all these years of hiding our true capabilities, it would be educational to show them why assuming peace equals weakness is a dangerous mistake. As the Admiral's hologram faded, Sarah returned to the observation deck. The Karathi scout was still out there, watching, probing, dismissing. She thought about all the similar ships that had observed humanity over the decades, all reaching the same comforting conclusion. Here was a species that had chosen science over military might, research over weapons, peace over war. None of them had ever thought to ask why. The maintenance drone passed by again, its innocent appearance masking enough computing power to run combat simulations that would make the Karathi tactical computers look like children's toys. Sarah Chen, director of Research Station Helios, guardian of humanity's greatest deception, smiled again. Let them watch. Let them assume. Let them mistake chosen peace for inherited weakness. They would learn the truth soon enough. Captain Maya Patel had never intended to be the one who shattered humanity's carefully crafted illusion. As she stood on the bridge of the deep space research vessel Magellan, watching 3 Karathi warships emerge from quantum space, she knew that decades of deception might end in the next few minutes. "Status of our research equipment?" she asked, her voice steady despite the tension building on the bridge. The Magellan, like all human ships, was far more than it appeared to be. Lieutenant David Wong's fingers danced across his console, hidden weapon systems coming online behind their peaceful facade. "All systems nominal, Captain. Though if we reveal them..." "I know." Maya nodded. 50 years of pretending to be harmless scientists, undone in an instant. The Magellan's true sensor suite painted a detailed picture of their situation. The Karathi vessels were hunting configuration, their weapons already powered up. They weren't here by accident. The main screen flickered as the Karathi transmitted their message. A reptilian face appeared, scales gleaming with artificial enhancement that spoke of their species' love of cybernetic augmentation. "Human vessel." The commander's translated voice carried unmistakable contempt. "You have entered a restricted zone. Your primitive sensors must have missed our boundary markers." Maya knew this was a lie. The Magellan's quantum charts showed this region as neutral space, well outside any Karathi claims. This was a test, or perhaps an excuse. Either way, her response would shape humanity's future. "This is Captain Maya Patel of the research vessel Magellan," she replied, maintaining the expected image of a peaceful scientist. "Our charts show this as unclaimed space. We're conducting a survey of quantum field anomalies in this sector. We'll be happy to share our data." "Your research is irrelevant," the Karathi commander interrupted. "This sector now belongs to the Empire. Your vessel will be impounded, your crew interrogated. The Empire wishes to understand why humans waste so much effort on scientific pursuits while leaving themselves defenseless." Maya exchanged glances with her bridge crew. Each of them had trained for years, maintaining their cover as civilian researchers while honing combat skills in secret. The Magellan's atmospheric sampling arrays could transform into weapon ports in seconds. Its quantum field sensors were actually targeting systems more advanced than anything the Karathi had ever encountered. "Commander," Maya tried one last time, "there's no need for conflict. We're a peaceful vessel." The Karathi's barking laugh cut her off. "Peace is the excuse of the weak human. Your species' dedication to science, while neglecting military strength, proves your inferiority. Prepare to be boarded." Maya's hand hovered over her command console. One command would transform the Magellan from a seemingly harmless research vessel into one of the most advanced warships ever created by human hands. But giving that order would change everything. "Captain," Lieutenant Wong's voice was tight. "They're charging weapons." Maya thought of Director Chen's last briefing, of all the contingency plans humanity had prepared for this moment. "Interesting theory about peace and weakness. Commander," she said to the sneering Karathi face on her screen. "Care to test it?" Her fingers danced across the console. Throughout the Magellan, hidden systems awakened. Weapon ports appeared where sensor arrays had been. Quantum shields shimmed into existence, far more advanced than the crude barriers the Carathi used. The ship's research core revealed its true nature, powering up combat systems that had been disguised as scientific instruments. The Carathi commander's expression shifted from contempt to confusion to the first hints of fear. Impossible. Our scans showed no weapons, no defense systems. You're a research vessel. We are researchers, Maya replied, watching as her crew smoothly transitioned to combat stations, years of hidden training paying off. We've spent decades researching how to hide our true capabilities from arrogant species who mistake chosen peace for weakness. Would you like to see what else we've been studying? The Magellan's first shot passed straight through the lead Carathi ship's shields as if they didn't exist, disabled its primary power core with surgical precision. The second and third shots followed before the other ships could even register what had happened to their companion. Full tactical analysis of their capabilities, Maya ordered as her ship danced through space, evading return fire with ease. Director Chen will want to know if we need to adjust our masking protocols. The Carathi commander's face had gone pale beneath his scales. What are you? We're exactly what we appear to be, Maya answered, watching as her crew systematically dismantled the Carathi attack force with weapons that shouldn't exist. Scientists, researchers, peaceful explorers. We just never said that was all we are. As the Carathi ships hung powerless in space, their weapons disabled, their shields useless, Maya knew that the ripples from this encounter would soon become a tidal wave. Humanity's mask had cracked, and through that crack, the galaxy would get its first glimpse of what lay beneath. Quantum transmission from the Magellan to all commands, she spoke into the secure channel. The deception protocol has been broken. I say again, the deception protocol has been broken. The response came almost instantly. Director Chen's voice calm, but carrying the weight of decades of preparation. Understood, Captain. The galaxy was bound to learn the truth eventually. Let's show them why we chose peace rather than having it forced upon us. The Magellan's research sensors were already recording every detail of the brief battle, analyzing the Carathi weapons, defenses, and tactics. After all, they were scientists. They just happened to be warriors too. The galaxy was about to learn why. The Carathi High Command's war room buzzed with agitation as Supreme Commander Vextar reviewed the footage from their defeated scout fleet. His cybernetic eye whirred as it analyzed every frame of the impossible battle, watching a simple human research vessel transform into something that shouldn't exist. Impossible, he growled, his scaled fingers leaving marks on the holographic display. 50 years of observation. Every scan, every analysis showed the same thing. A species devoted to peace and science, barely capable of defending their own atmosphere. Below him, in the orbit of what humans called Europa, the Carathi invasion fleet gathered. 500 warships, assembled to claim what they had thought would be an easy prize. Now, uncertainty rippled through the command staff. On Earth, Director Sarah Chen stood in the newly revealed Global Defense Command, watching the Carathi fleet's approach on displays that had previously been disguised as climate monitoring stations. They're still coming, she noted, her voice carrying a hint of satisfaction. Despite what happened to their scouts, they still can't believe we're more than what we seemed. Admiral Rodriguez's hologram nodded grimly. Pride blinds them. They built their entire society around the idea that peaceful species are weak, that military might must be displayed to be real. The thought that we could hide our true strength for so long, it doesn't fit their worldview. Then let's adjust their perspective, Sarah replied. She opened a quantum-encrypted channel to all of humanity's hidden installations. This is Director Chen. Authorization code Phoenix Rising. The mask falls now. Across the solar system, humanity's greatest deception began to unravel. On Mars, what appeared to be terraforming arrays revealed their true nature as quantum weapon platforms. The environmental monitoring satellites orbiting Earth transformed into a defense grid more advanced than anything the Carathi had ever encountered. Even the automated mining operations in the asteroid belt showed their real purpose, automated shipyards that had been producing vessels in secret for decades. Vextar watched in growing horror as his tactical display erupted with new signatures. Where there had been simple research stations, warships now appeared. Civilian satellites became weapon platforms. Even the human vessel's power signatures change, revealing energy levels that should have been impossible to hide. How? He demanded, watching as his carefully planned invasion route became a killing ground. How did they hide this from us? On the bridge of the Magellan, now coordinating with an entire fleet that had emerged from humanity's hidden shipyards, Captain Maya Patil allowed herself a small smile. You never looked past what we showed you. She transmitted to the Karathi command ship. You saw our environmental restoration projects and assumed we were weak. You never asked how technology that could heal a planet could be turned to other purposes. The first wave of Karathi ships pressed forward, their commanders still believing in their superior numbers. They learned their mistake quickly. Human vessels moved with impossible precision, their weapons passing through Karathi shields as if they didn't exist. What appeared to be simple research drones revealed themselves as autonomous combat units, swarming through the Karathi formation with devastating effect. Report from Luna Defense Command. Lieutenant Wong announced on the Magellan's bridge. The quantum shield network is fully operational. All civilian facades have been dropped. The Karathi fleet's formation began to break as they faced weapons they had never seen before, defenses that made their attacks useless, and tactics that seemed to anticipate their every move. Their combat computers, supposedly the most advanced in known space, proved useless against systems that had been refined in secret for half a century. In the global were exactly what we claimed they were. Sarah's voice cut through his communications. We just never mentioned their other applications. Those nanites that helped us restore Earth's damaged ecosystems. They can disassemble military hardware just as easily. The quantum fields we use to clean up orbital debris. They make excellent weapon delivery systems. Throughout the solar system, humanity's hidden strength continued to reveal itself. The solar observation platforms that had drawn scientific praise from across the galaxy now demonstrated their secondary purpose, generating energy fields that trapped Karathi ships in place. Environmental monitoring satellites transformed into a defense grid that made Earth's orbit a killing ground for any hostile force. In the Global Defense Command, Admiral Rodriguez coordinated with Sarah as they deployed capabilities that had been developed and hidden for half a century. Activate the Prometheus Protocol, he ordered. Show them what our primitive quantum research was really about. Across the battlefield, human ships began to phase in and out of normal space, appearing and disappearing at will. The Karathi's advanced targeting systems proved useless against vessels that could manipulate quantum fields in ways their scientists had deemed impossible. You see, Sarah transmitted to the increasingly desperate Karathi fleet. While you were dismissing us as peaceful researchers, we were studying everything. Every encounter, every scan you performed, every piece of technology you showed us. We learned from all of it. We just made sure you never saw us learning. Vextar watched in horror as his remaining ships tried to mount a counterattack, only to find that human vessels seemed to anticipate their every move. Your combat computers, he realized. All those quantum processing arrays you claimed were for scientific calculations were exactly that, Maya replied as the Magellan effortlessly evaded another Karathi attack. We just didn't mention they could also run combat simulations. Your entire tactical database has been analyzed, your strategies mapped, your capabilities understood. We know how you fight better than you do. The Karathi fleet's formation had completely broken down. Ships that had begun the battle certain of easy victory now found themselves trapped and outmaneuvered by an enemy that seemed to have planned for their every move. What appeared to be simple research drones swarmed through their formation, each one demonstrating capabilities that should have taken decades to develop. It's remarkable, Sarah noted to Admiral Rodriguez as they watched the battle unfold. They still can't quite believe it. Even seeing it with their own eyes, they can't accept that a peaceful species could be so thoroughly prepared for war. The Admiral's hologram nodded grimly. That was always their weakness. They never understood that choosing peace doesn't mean forgetting how to fight. Every scientific advancement we made, every peaceful technology we developed, we also explored its military applications, not because we wanted to use them, but because we needed to be ready if someone forced us to. In space, the remnants of the Karathi fleet made one final desperate attempt to escape. Their most powerful weapons, designed to crack planetary crusts, splashed harmlessly against quantum shields that had been perfected in secret over decades. Their best electronic warfare suites proved useless against systems that had been designed specifically to counter them. A final observation. Sarah transmitted as the battle drew to its inevitable conclusion. You assumed that because we shared our scientific discoveries freely, we must have shared everything we knew. You never considered that for every advancement we revealed, we kept two more hidden. Peace was our choice, not our limitation. The Magellan's sensors recorded everything as the last Karathi ships were systematically disabled, their weapons neutralized, their crews contained. Every moment of the battle would be analyzed, every tactic studied, every response cataloged. After all, they were still scientists at heart. As the solar system fell quiet again, humanity's true nature stood revealed to the galaxy. The peaceful researchers, the dedicated scientists, the supposedly defenseless idealists had shown themselves to be something else entirely, a species that had mastered the art of war while praying they'd never have to demonstrate that mastery. The thunder of the meek had been heard, and its echoes would reshape the galaxy's understanding of what it meant to choose peace. The Galactic Council chamber had never been so silent. Representatives from 100 species watched the holographic display with a mixture of awe and fear as it showed the complete defeat of the Karathi invasion fleet by what they had all dismissed as a peaceful, scientifically focused species. Supreme Chancellor Zixtal, their crystalline form refracting light in patterns that indicated deep disturbance, addressed the human delegation. You deceived us all, they stated, their translator struggling to convey the complex emotions in their harmonic speech. Director Sarah Chen stood before them, no longer wearing the simple researcher's attire that had been humanity's mask for so long. No, she replied calmly. We showed you exactly who we were. You simply assumed that our dedication to peace and science meant we were incapable of anything else. The chamber erupted in overlapping voices as representatives tried to process what they had witnessed. The Karathi defeat had sent shockwaves through galactic society. Species that had dismissed humanity as primitive now scrambled to reassess their understanding. Every technological advancement you shared. The Merxian representatives' tentacles writhed in agitation. Every scientific breakthrough. They were all weapons. They were exactly what we said they were. Captain Maya Patel replied from her position beside Sarah. The Magellan's defeat of the Karathi scouts had become legendary almost overnight. Technologies to heal worlds, to explore space, to advance understanding. We just never mentioned that anything that can heal can also harm, that exploration and defense often use the same tools, that understanding power means knowing when not to use it. The display shifted to show human ships using their supposedly primitive environmental technology to systematically disable the Karathi fleet. What had appeared to be simple research vessels demonstrated capabilities that many in the chamber had thought impossible. Your quantum processing arrays. The Technid scientist chief's mechanical voice contained clear admiration. We thought they were for astronomical calculations. They were, Admiral Rodriguez's hologram stated. They also ran combat simulations, analyzed military tactics, and developed countermeasures to every weapon system we encountered. Good science requires considering all possibilities. Sarah stepped forward, her voice carrying to every corner of the vast chamber. For 50 years, we showed you a species dedicated to peace and scientific advancement. That wasn't a lie. We are those things. But we never said that was all we are. The display showed human research stations transforming into fortresses, peaceful satellites revealing weapon systems that had been hidden in plain sight. Each image forced the assembled representatives to confront their own assumptions about what peace truly meant. The Karathi believed that species who chose peace must be weak. Sarah continued. They couldn't understand that true strength lies not in displaying power, but in knowing when to keep it hidden. We developed our military capabilities not because we wanted to use them, but because we understood that peace is best maintained from a position of strength. And now, Chancellor Zixtal asked, now that your true capabilities are known. Now nothing changes, Maya replied. We remain what we always were, scientists, explorers, peacekeepers. We'll continue to share our discoveries, to help other species, to work for the betterment of all. We just no longer need to hide the fact that we can defend these principles if necessary. The chamber fell silent again as the implications sank in. Humanity had not just defeated one of the galaxy's most militant species, they had done it with technology that had been hidden for decades. Every peaceful advancement they had shared might have applications no one had considered. A final observation. Sarah addressed the assembly. The Karathi made a crucial mistake. They assumed that because we chose peace, we had forgotten war. Because we preferred diplomacy, we couldn't fight. Because we shared knowledge freely, we had no secrets. They learned the hard way that peace is not the absence of strength, but the wisdom to know when not to use it. As the council session concluded, representatives hurried to transmit new reports to their homeworlds. The galaxy's understanding of humanity, and of peace itself, had been fundamentally altered. Species that had dismissed Earth as a minor power now recognized that humanity's scientific achievements might hint at military capabilities they had never imagined. In orbit above Earth, Sarah stood on the Magellan's observation deck with Maya, watching the planet turn peacefully below them. Do you think they understand now? Maya asked. Sarah smiled, remembering decades of careful preparation, of building strength while showing only peace, of advancing military science under the guise of research. Some do, she replied. The smarter ones have realized that true power isn't about what you show. It's about what you choose to keep hidden. The stars twinkled above them, looking exactly as they had before humanity's mask had fallen. But now the galaxy saw them differently, understanding at last that choosing peace did not mean being unprepared for war. The price of presumption had been paid, and with it came a new appreciation for what it truly meant to be both peaceful and strong. In the depths of space, research stations continued their work, ships explored new frontiers, and humanity's commitment to science and peace remained unchanged. But now everyone knew that beneath that peaceful exterior lay capabilities that had been refined in secret for generations, not to threaten, not to dominate, but to ensure that peace remained a choice rather than a necessity. The galaxy would never again mistake chosen peace for inherent weakness. The price of that presumption had been too high.